Shock the system.
How you doing?
Getting beat up by 9 guys in Syracuse, to me, there's not a whole lot of shame in.
This is the Heel to the Face podcast with your hosts, Jared Wicks and Brandon Icebreaker Clements. Tweet us using the handle at Heel to the Face.
Woo! 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 Woo!
The bell is rung, so let's step in the ring with your hosts, Brandon and Jared.
This is the Heel to the Face podcast. That's Brandon, the Icebreaker Clements. You can find him on Twitter at Icebreaker21. Myself, Jared Wicks. You can find me on Twitter at that handle, at Jared Wicks. And most importantly, follow the program at Heel to the Face. That's where you'll get our Twitter questions of the week and all the information you need.
Man, it's cool. We got a new intro this week.
We do. Brand new intro, as we're just a few days away from the one and only pay-per-view every year that is known as Hell in a Cell. So Hell in a Cell coming up this upcoming Sunday. So without further ado, let's get this week's edition of the show underway.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
With a 20-minute time limit.
So this week, the go-home Raw and SmackDown before Hell in a Cell, we saw Mick Foley come out and announce that he's going to be the special guest referee for the Hell in a Cell match between Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns this Sunday. Do you think that this match really needed that?
Honestly, no. I don't think it did. It's a nice surprise, but this match didn't need it. Let me ask you this. Let me turn it around. Do you think he does something to help one guy over the other? Do you think what do you think Mick does in this match? I don't think it's just going to be a standard 1, 2, 3, or he declares the guy the winner. I honestly think he's going to get involved in some way, shape, or form. Are you on the same page with me on that?
See, I do not know, because Mick Foley, I don't understand what his involvement is between Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman. He just appeared and is going to be the guest referee. So, it's interesting. What it does to me is it hypes up the match and makes it more marquee, because now you have 2 big names and a big-time special guest referee. So it makes it seem more of a bigger heavyweight match, I guess. But his dynamic is not like a dynamic I'm used to, I guess. He has really no involvement with these guys. This isn't like Shawn Michaels between Triple H and Undertaker.
They just kind of threw him in. That's, to me, it was, I think creative-wise, I feel like they just kind of threw it in there like last minute. That's kind of like, back in college, you got a paper due, do it, the 9 a.m. class, you're doing it at like 3:30 in the morning. That's kind of how they did this. It's kind of like last minute, because obviously it's the go-home show before the pay-per-view, which is a few days away, and now you just make this announcement. Like, there should maybe he is just going to do the 1, 2, 3 then at that point. That's that's the way I would look at it from the way they built it, because if you're going to build somebody into this into the match, a guy like Mick Foley, you maybe want to have him in the storylines a little bit more. That's the way I look at it personally. I think something's going to happen. I think you're going to see some physical contact with Mick Foley. I just, how much, without obviously his history of injuries and what he's done over the years, his body can't take many bumps anymore, honestly. But I could see him taking another bump, just maybe one last bump.
So how do you make out, another week, Braun Strowman, Dolph Ziggler, the whole group? They obviously kicked off the show this week. Are you continuing to like what you're seeing?
I don't mind it. What do you think?
Yeah, I have a feeling that at a pay-per-view coming soon, we're just going to see a 6-man. We're going to see them versus the Shield. And you know what? It might be, and this would be an interesting one. We haven't had this, I want to say, since 2001. An all the gold match.
I like that. That's a good one. Here's what I would say. I didn't mind how they started the show with those guys. Here's my thing, though. Are we going to have a name for them? We have the Shield, and what are we just going to say?
Yeah, we got to have.
It's going to be Ziggler, McIntyre, and Strowman. No, we got to have a name. If you guys are a crew, we got to have a name.
I kind of like that they don't have a name right now, just for the fact that it seems more organic that way. If they already had a name, it seems a little more forced.
Well,
I like it's a little more organic. Kind of earns them a name, I guess. That's the way to put it.
I mean, well, let me ask you this: if they win, if this match happens, maybe this is what they do. Maybe they have this match, all the gold, so to speak, and they beat the Shield. Then do they come out and say, we've beat the Shield, and now we want you guys to know us. We want to be known as. Like, do you think there's a good way of doing that? Like, where they come out and say, hey, this is the name of our group, our little trio? Because, I mean, the Shield's the Shield. Like, no matter what happens, when Roman Reigns, Roman Reigns is doing his singles thing, Seth's doing his singles thing, Dean's doing his singles thing. No matter what happens, if one of those boys are getting their ass kicked, one of those, say Dean's getting his ass kicked, Seth's coming down or Roman's coming down at this point because they're brothers. You know what I mean? Like, to me, I want to know, if they're going to come up with a name or they're just going to leave it like that. Like, to me, what do you say? Dolph, Drew, and Braun?
I mean,
it's to me, I think you need a name. They got to come up with some name. I mean, I will say the name that I really like, which is obviously already taken, Authors of Pain. That's cool. I think that's a great tag team.
Saw
name.
them again this week with Maverick.
I like it. I think it's a good dynamic. I think Maverick's a great talker. Obviously, not to say anything negative about AOP, because now they don't go. I don't think they call themselves Authors of Pain anymore. I think it's AOP. Yes. I think they're putting letters together. I think we talked about that last week. It's kind of weird, but I don't think those boys. I don't think Akam and Razor. I don't think they're great talkers. Like, I think they tried them out as talkers, and I don't think they got good. I think they tried them out as talkers. Let them cut something. I think management probably didn't like it, and they're like, all right, we got to get somebody. We got to get a manager. We got to get somebody, a valet, something to help them be the mouthpiece. And I think Maverick's a great piece. I think he's a great talker. I think you're gonna see AOP finally being used the way they should have been. Is these guys are just gonna run through the division. Honestly, if I don't see like the All for Gold type match, I could see AOP being the next contenders for that title.
Definitely. I finally feel that
it.
they're getting a push. It's been a while,
Well deserved,
and they're finally getting that push. I feel they should have got that push when they came in, but for some reason or not, they just didn't.
Which is I still can't figure that one out. Like, they were kicking the crap out of everybody in NXT, and then they come up, then they're gone. That, to me, I thought that was poor booking. I think creative dropped the ball with them, but I think I'll give creative a reprieve because I think they brought in the right mouthpiece. I think I wish they would have kept what's his face, Paul Ellering, but obviously that didn't work out. But I think Maverick's not bad.
Yeah, I think it's definitely. I like where they're going. I like where Braun Strowman and everybody's going. Finn Balor, does he have a match at Hell in a Cell this week?
I don't think he does.
I saw he beat Elias on Monday Night Raw. But other than that, he's kind of got that feud going, Baron Corbin, but that's getting a little stale in my eyes.
Well, here's my thing. What are we going to do with Corbin going forward? Are we going to keep him as? Is he going to stop?
When's Kurt Angle coming back? Yeah.
Is he going to wrestle? Or I honestly my prediction for Kurt Angle is you're going to see him back. I would say sooner rather than later, and I would project him as, I wouldn't say a full-time wrestler, but I think he's gonna. I think he'll be on the show. Maybe as much as he was before. I think you'll see him sprinkled in some matches. I think he's going to start wrestling again. I think he's about ready to do that. Obviously, when we saw him a while back when they filled him in on the Shield, when was it? Roman was out, wasn't it?
Yes.
When Roman was out, because they had that illness or there was like an infection that went through the locker room.
Last minute.
Yeah, last minute. And how did he do? Wow, I thought he did very well. So to me, this is long overdue. My prediction is you're going to see Kurt Angle in a match sooner rather than later.
I would probably say before Survivor Series.
Yeah, I would agree. I think I'm obviously not Hell in a Cell because we have a week away, but I think they're giving him some time off. You're going to see him out of nowhere. I think he's going to start. I could see. You know what I could see? I could see Baron Corbin and Kurt Angle having a match.
Yeah,
that might be his first match back. Maybe something happens between the two of them, and then at a pay-per-view, to be determined, whenever it is down the line, they have a match. Maybe it is at Survivor Series. Maybe it's after Survivor Series. But I could see Baron Corbin and Kurt Angle. I think they're due to face off. The reason why I don't put what's his face in there, Kurt Angle's biological son there, what's his name,
Jason Jordan?
Jason Jordan.
Yeah, when is he returning?
He's done.
He's done.
Everything I've read online, I mean, obviously it's all circumstantial, but everything I've read online, he's taking the Matt Hardy approach now. His body's too banged up. I think his neck injury, I don't want to say was as serious as Edge's, but I think it's serious enough where they're grooming him to be a backstage producer, I think is where he's going. So that's why I would be highly surprised if Jason Jordan comes back. You know, everything that I've read and you know, all the inside information that these wrestling, you know, observers have, everything that I've seen, and I've seen some stuff on social media where it looks like he's doing some backstage stuff. I kind of saw that with Matt Hardy as well, like weeks before like his retirement. That really wasn't a retirement because they didn't. Number one, I'm still mad about that. They don't. Matt Hardy doesn't get to have his moment on Raw like they did it. No offense, and I'm not. And this is the local. This is in Rochester, where he did he did a goodbye at a live event. To me, Matt Hardy, a future Hall of Famer, you know, with the Hardy Boys, he should have gotten like a farewell. I'm not saying like a Ric Flair, like this big thing, but at least maybe, you know, like what Edge did, you know, just kind of have a little like a segment thanking the fans, all that stuff, and kind of just drop the mic and see you later. So, but to my point, weeks before that on social media, I was seeing pictures of Matt Hardy in a suit, not in his wrestling attire. He was in a suit, and you could see him with, you know, paper and stuff. Like, to me, I'm like, all right, that guy looks like he's a producer now. So I think Jason Jordan, from everything I see, I think he is done in ring, which is sad because he's still a young fella, and he's so athletic. But in this day and age, with all the injuries and all the precautions, you're better safe than sorry. Maybe he does come back later on with Daniel Bryan, with, you know, him being out for a couple years. Daniel Bryan, you know, finally got cleared, and look where he is now. So maybe this isn't the end for Jason Jordan. Maybe it's just what WWE wants to do to help him, learn the other side of the business, and maybe he keeps working at it like Daniel Bryan possibly and get back in the ring later. We'll see.
So Rusev Day is now the number one contender for the tag titles on SmackDown. They beat the Bar. Do you like where Rusev? Do you see Rusev Day boiling over eventually?
Yes.
What's taking so long for it?
I know. I'm ready. I'm ready for it to be done. I think the Rusev Day thing has run its course. I think, to me, I mean, hell, New Day's run its course for years, and they're still going. So I mean, they could keep Rusev Day for the next year and a half. We could be here. We could be talking next, around Christmas time next year, and we're still talking about Rusev Day. It just depends on what creative wants to do. I mean, it works, but do I see them winning the championships? We'll get to that later. I'll that little teaser later. I'm saying probably not. I don't see it happening. I'm
more of a fan of the Bar. I don't know why.
Me too.
I wish they would have got the win.
I was gonna say I like the Bar much better. I like both competitors. I think Sheamus and Cesaro are both really good in-ring competitors. They have a good thing going. Their team, like the way they are as a team, they're probably pretty well oiled. I mean, they do some really good things. I think they're entertaining. I think Sheamus is very good. I think Cesaro is really good. So it's, to me, what are we doing with guys like Sheamus and Cesaro? Like they deserve a little bit more of a push, in my opinion. I think they've been kind of sitting in the background, like, all right, And it was funny because, like, remember how they just came back? It's like, oh, I forgot they were gone for a little while there. Yeah, they weren't on TV for a little bit because I know there was some. I'm assuming. I don't follow it to a T like that, but I would say probably injuries, letting them heal up. Because they both have had lingering injuries. I mean, Cesaro's been wearing that tape stuff that a lot of athletes wear now to protect the shoulder from like dislocating and stuff. Like Kevin Owens has been seen wearing it. It's like the soccer players do it. It's like helps like stabilization. Mm-hmm. So maybe it was
Cesaro's been wearing that, it seems like, for a couple of years now. I thought that was more like a gimmick.
No, I don't think it's a gimmick. I think it's like a lot of athletes, like especially in
well, I thought it was a gimmick for him because, I mean, a lot of athletes do wear it, but only he's been wearing it in WWE.
For him, he's had a lot of lingering injuries. Like Cesaro's got a lot of injuries that he's just kind of dealt with. I think maybe it was time. Maybe it was I don't follow them that much on social media. I knew more about the Jason Jordan stuff because they were talking about it more because there was these what ifs, like, okay, so when Kurt Angle took a leave of absence, like, of course I'm like, all right, so what does that mean for Jason Jordan then? Because we're like, all right, well, that's his son. So is that whole son storyline like done? That's that to me, that's what it kind of sounds like. Like, so Jason Jordan, if he's back producing, so I mean, Kurt Angle's wrestling, we're all just gonna assume that he doesn't have a kid now. Is that where it goes?
I mean,
that's what I'm thinking.
there's a few storylines that just end up dying like that, and that
Yes.
seems to be one. So Ric Flair got married for the 5th time this week.
Not bad. Good for him.
So,
Is it fifth time the charm for him?
I guess my question is, so how old is Ric Flair? He's
Ric Flair's in his, I want to say, mid to late
let's look that.
60s.
Wait, how old is Ric Flair? I mean, we should know how old he is off the card.
Mid 60s. Mid 60s.
I thought he was
69. Okay, so he's almost 70. Okay, so I was close enough.
Yeah, so he's almost 70. So I guess my question is, I've just never understood why people at the age of 70 years old
Get married. Hey, good for Rick.
What are the benefits of getting married, I guess, at 70 years old?
Well, it benefits his wife because she gets all his benefits.
I guess that's true. Benefits for her.
Yeah, for him, what is it? I mean, for him,
But again, benefits wise, I know she's younger.
She's
but,
actually, I think she's probably in her 40s or 50s.
They both have to, I'm assuming if he entered in a relationship with her, their health insurance, their traditional benefits, I want to say. I mean, they can't be at a point in their lives where they need mutual incomes, I guess.
Yeah, I would assume so.
So I guess I just don't.
Yeah, but I mean, I see a lot
especially when it's a 5th time.
Hey, Rick's Rick. Rick's already said he's been with 10,000 women, so I mean, nothing surprised me with Rick.
A part of me wishes I got married 5 times because I just want to know what 4 divorces feels like. Like it's just
for him, probably really expensive.
But yeah,
that's the first thing that comes to mind is money for me.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, he's not the only person who's ever done this, but I mean, with like the life that Ric Flair has led, I guess I just don't even understand why he engages in getting married. We all saw that 30 for 30, and he even admitted it. He's like, it's really not for me. Why'd you do it so many times?
That's a good question. Maybe we can get Ric Flair on the podcast sometime and pick his brain about these things.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then here's the other thing too. Like, I think obviously the financial side of things that works for his new wife. But the crazy thing is, he was near death's door not that long ago.
Yeah,
and I'm happy for him as long as they're happy. That's all that really matters at the end of the day. Whatever the rest of us think doesn't really matter at the end of the day. If they're happy, good for them. Charlotte seemed happy too. So,
and one final thing: Impact Wrestling seems to be getting a lot of good press lately, or giving itself good press, I would say, because it keeps selling out shows. It sold out Slammiversary and it sells out Bound for Glory, but it gets them out there to say that they sold this show out. And
okay, how big's the arena?
Show. That's the question.
What was it, like a 2,000 seat arena?
I went to Bound for Glory and it was quite sold out. It probably was smaller than where they're selling out now. I'll give it credit that it seems to be going in an upward direction, but it's making itself out like it's all in, like it's
not like they're not selling 10,000 a night.
They're in New York City, October 14th, but like I said, it's not Madison Square Garden. It's really to sell out a small nightclub venue. If you're on television, shouldn't really be newsworthy.
No, not at all.
For one of your major shows.
No, exactly. I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
It's if it was like if they were saying, yeah, we're selling out Madison Square Garden, I'd say, all right, now we got something here.
Yeah.
That's if it's the where were they at Raw 25, the ballroom?
Yeah.
If they sold that out, I'm like, great. There's a few people there.
Yeah, I mean, that should be a given. I mean, you should only
Obviously.
be running venues in which you would sell out, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. To me, it's just that they'll never gain enough steam where I don't see anybody really taking WWE. I just don't see it.
Well, no, I don't see that either. But I still think even with Slammiversary and this, I just feel that it's very Impact Wrestling is trying to hype itself.
They serve a purpose, for the non-WWE fans, because we have a lot of wrestling fans out there that listen to our show that aren't big WWE fans. They we talk a lot of WWE, but they're looking for when we talk about Omega and all these different guys, because they like the Japan stuff, they like the Ring of Honor, and I don't know if you caught in our new intro we created, who was the other guy doing the woos? Trick question.
Zack Ryder?
No. It was it was a woo off. It wasn't even on WWE. It was on TNA back in the day.
Was it what? Flair and Styles? I don't know.
No, Flair and Jay Lethal.
Jay Lethal.
Yep.
How could I forget Jay Lethal? He's been the master of disguise for a bunch of different people.
He's Jay Lethal is one of those guys who's had a great career and hasn't.
Well, we've discussed that.
Yeah, I was gonna say he hasn't been in WWE, so to me it was. I can't wait to see him in WWE. I think he's coming someday. I know we talked about it last week, but I think he's coming. I think he's going to come someday. Why wouldn't you? Sting did the last minute.
Just come someday, just so you can have like a WrestleMania match, and then you could essentially then go into the WWE Hall of Fame. Essentially, he could still go in the WWE Hall. Well, no, because TNA isn't under, like WCW people were under the WWE umbrella. TNA people are not. So
no, he'd have to actually do something in WWE.
Yeah.
Even if it's like a short run, maybe like a Goldberg type run recently.
Yeah.
Do something like towards the end of retirement and just to say, hey, I won a championship in WWE. We'll see, obviously.
All right, that's going to do it for our first segment. Brandon Icebreaker Clements, myself, Jared, just Jared Wicks. Make sure to follow the program at Heel to the Face on Twitter and subscribe to us on YouTube. That's where you'll find our social media smackdown of the week. And this week, that's where you'll find our predictions for Hell in a Cell this Sunday. So make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter, and if you're listening on the podcast, we'll be right back.